Imagine a scenario where you have the answers to all the questions, where you are an ambassador to foreign worlds, different multiverses, where you have been given such a high level of trust that you were sent on missions to worlds that have not even known the Creator of God. And that in your dissertations among these strange beings and these people, they listen in awe when you relate all your experiences that you lived during the Sumerian times when you were a teacher, or in the Etruscan times when you were a slave, or in the Caribbean times when you were a banker financing slave ships, or a king. And you have this amassed database in your head of all the things you lived through the 462 simulations that you existed in before you finally got it right. And that you were given a white garment and you were fit into a community of others who had also lived multiple lifetimes. Some, they got it right in just a few. Others, they got it in thousands. But no judgment was incurred, because in the end, when they passed through that portal, there was no judgment in how long it took an immortal soul to mature into the family. But many of you are worried about the simulation theory and what it means on a spiritual level. You shouldn't be, because we are living simulated lives. Some of those simulations overlap each other. But in every single one of them, you are put into positions where you grow. And if you're not, you'll loop back into a similar simulated holography to do it again. If you're victimizing people, you will be born into a victim yourself. If you are edifying people, then you will be built up yourself when you come back, or wherever you appear. It might not be in this simulated context, but I imagine a future where I am an ambassador to other worlds, and I'm telling them about God, and I'm telling them because He is so vast that even after these simulations are over and I have moved on into an immortal context and I remember who I truly am, not as Jason in the simulacrum, but as whatever my name truly is outside of it. And I'm an ambassador teaching all these other beings about what I went through who have never known pain. Civilizations far away that know nothing of conflict and war. And I tell them these stories and they are shocked. They cannot believe that we used to kill each other. They cannot believe that we used to hunt animals and murder them in order for us to eat. No hypocrite here. I've hunted many times and I've done it. But this predator versus prey ecosphere is just a part of the simulation. It's not natural. I am not alone. In fact, I am a member of a body. That body has many members. I don't know who my spiritual brothers and sisters are, but I do know that I'm not the only one. We have a destiny as ambassadors and emissaries to spread this information. We will travel to many universes. There is no end to the creation. The creation event was not a singularity. It is a continuum. There will be no end to our work as more worlds and more multiverses appear. The reason we're going through these things is because we have to build up the necessary testimony that will keep other civilizations and other races of beings from falling into the same traps that we did. We're going to be a collective godhood. God is way too powerful, way too mysterious to ever be compartmentalized into an idea. God is the creation, and we are very much a part of it. And these lifetimes that we're living are nothing but simulations. It's our central nervous system that makes us believe that it's real when it's not. And death is an escape. It is an exit into a whole nother tier of the holography. It is not an end. But these belief systems are given to us so that we don't give up and that we move forward. We don't just cut bait. We got to push forward because that's how you grow. This idea is embodied within this strange monument that was built before human writing ever came around. The Great Pyramid in Egypt embodies many concepts. It was designed that way. The Archaics research has served to reveal a belief system from mankind's earliest times, known by the adherents of Earth's most ancient and diverse theological and cultural backgrounds. This faith held that somewhere in this world was a mountain made by God, a monument of divine origin erected over a deep well that held back the waters of chaos, while the edifice itself commemorated the sacred site of the creation event. As Eden was of old protected by a cherub, so too was the sacred site watched over by a silent guardian. The monument was built upon a square foundation of living rock, covered all over its four sides with writings by a civilization so connected to the Creator that their rebellion initiated a worldwide cataclysm that buried this Golden Age culture. A catastrophe foretold within the myriads of inscriptions that were once upon this structure's surface. This monument was the largest book on earth, containing the secrets of good and evil, life and death, the heavens and earth, and the dateless past to the unending future. It was an artificial mountain promised to come by God when He told the first people that He would build an altar on earth to commemorate their death. The earthly end of the first people, remembered as Adam, made in the image of God. This colossal altar was also an enduring sign to all of humanity that death would reign for a season, but in the end, by the power of the mystery of God, would the dead who are faithful be reborn. It was this testimony in stone that Enoch laid upon the earth before the great flood, which was built after his departure by the remaining Sethites at the exact location of his vanishing into the heavens. The prophets told that this testimony was to be located in Egypt at the border of the Lord. Centuries after the flood, men searched out this mountain, excavated it, and wrote entire libraries as they extracted knowledges from off of its surfaces, giving birth to the oldest surviving writings in the world today. But even if men had the means by which to ascend to the uppermost courses of the stones to read the highly apocalyptic and eschatological inscriptions, the end of all things would still remain unknown, for the monument was never provided a capstone. The cornerstone is the ultimate secret, the revelation of the name of God. This mountain was the Great Pyramid, the edifice serving as a prophetic type of the tree of life and tree of knowledge, a pillar of fire that alluded to Earth's final incendiary reign in the last days, a terrestrial reminder that God dwelt in the mountain. Its shape enigmatically conceals the name of the Creator, and it was likened to that of a ladder that no man could ascend save he that knew the name of the ladder. This name being the name of God. It is the ultimate secret of the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the ladder of Set. This ladder linked heaven to earth, and the ascent to heaven was by this pillar, the hill of the Lord, or the Book of Life. All of these cited in Scripture and identified in the symbolism of the Great Pyramid. This pillar also had a descent, a gate that led downwards into the underworld domains, a dark passage where the dead were conducted down to the entrance to the hidden nether realm beneath a hole in the desert of Egypt. It was a region of the deep where languished certain archaic spiritual beings made mortal that had so long ago defied the ordinances of heaven and followed the dragon to Eden in their campaign to pollute the seed of God. The secret entrance into this mountain gate to heaven is God, who gives the redeemed a white garment once they pass the border. This garment is immortality, a body that defies death and the curse of aging degeneratively. Man's spiritual garment was taken when he succumbed to earthly knowledge, but with spiritual knowledge will this garment be restored. Meanwhile, we are wayfarers, sojourners, pilgrims with a single purpose, to bring as many others with us as we exit this world. When the number of the white stones is reached, will the building of God be made complete. Our destiny is to be prepared for the return of Eden, eternal earth, of which the Garden of Eden in Genesis was but an eschatological shadow, an image of the future. To enter eternal Eden, we must be adequately clothed. The Great Pyramid ultimately identifies a belief in the future city of God, this new Jerusalem encoded upon the holy mountain of Zion, Giza. All of the former symbols are merely prophetic glimpses of this place, the center of the navel of the world, this origin of life, of the world whereupon will be laid the chief cornerstone, the true pyramid made of living rock, not cut by human hands. The stone the builders rejected. This stone will descend once his building is complete. Myriads of stones, all perfect and without blemish, all agreeing within another in form and covered in a garment of white. Once we are unified in spirit, will he descend to complete the architecture of God. The core faith of the pre-cataclysm world was that of a hero who disappeared from the world. He escaped the simulacrum, this dungeon world of the demiurge. He left and has not been seen, gone without a trace. We call him Enki. We call him Enoch. We call him Hermes. But he would return in the last days of the simulacrum to rescue the rest of us. He is the chief cornerstone of the monument of man, which the pyramid symbolizes. He is the stone the builders rejected. In the biblical prophetic text, he is the head of the corner, the Amen.